stories feed your soul. Hear the echoes, find the patterns, every truth, each hidden role. From the bench to the whispers, where the gavel takes its toll. There's a rhythm in the verdict, echoes from the cubby hole. Echoes, echoes from the cubby hole, where justice swings and stories unfold. Echoes, echoes, feed your soul. We're talking truth from the cubby hole.
Welcome everyone back to your favorite cubbyhole on the internet. It's Thanksgiving Eve. I hope you've all got good plans for the weekends. Starting tomorrow, we like short work weeks, don't we? We love it because we need some time to decompress. And I wanted to get this in before we decompress away from Laura Owens for a couple of days and hope that nothing happens over the weekend. I don't think it will. The courts should be closed. There shouldn't be much going on other than someone just going off the deep end. Producing content, a former attorney of Laura Owens. We all know him as Dingus the Douche Canoe.
The fucking douche canoe.
And we've got some more GingerBites a little later. So let's get to it. There's so much to get to. It's just, there's more GingerBites than there is things happening in the actual case right now. But that's just the way it goes. Maybe he's doing that on purpose to distract us, but my modus operandi, shall we say, will be to typically start with all things Laura first, and he gets second billing. Because, well, yes, while he's got some woes with the Arizona State Bar, they pale in comparison to the 14 felony indictments that have been consolidated recently for Laura Michelle Owens. That's right, the not-so-reliable baby scammer, as some channels have called her lately, among other things. It's been interesting watching some of the other people just starting to get caught up on this case. There's lots to get caught up with. And I've been watching some Melissa Jade, a little shout out to Melissa Jade. I haven't met her yet. I think I made a comment on one thing, but she's taken the deep dive in all the old documents and all the old recordings and body cams and 911 stuff. And my God, she's just going to town, and more power to her for that. So, hi chat, hi Bruce, hi Yaku, hi others. Let's see. Hi, Critical True Crime. Hi, Cousin Alex. Hope things are going well. And yes, we're all disappointed that she's being offered a plea deal, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Actually, maybe we will. Maybe I should just start with that, right? Sure. So this is, this document happened last week, and it happened along with some of the other stuff in the complex case management hearing. And this was sort of parallel to that. I think it was the next day. That was the same hearing in which we learned that Colesrud Law Offices is not going to represent her anymore, and they were granted the motion to withdraw. And of course, Laura has been named a public defender. I saw the name there. It doesn't matter to me. Those of you who know just a little bit about how these things work, and this was kind of some interesting points made by other people. With a private law firm, they were probably going to fight it tooth and nail, which in the long run may not have been to her advantage. Now that she's with a public defender who seems, by all we can tell so far, I haven't done any great research on him, he seems to be just sort of a straightforward person, get the job done. That's more or less what public defenders do. They're about economy, getting the best deal they can for their client, and do what they can to keep them from facing, serious hard time. So that's more or less what's going on here. And so we have here the complex case joint case management report. This is from the 11/18 hearing. And it lists all the defendant's active cases and probation cases, and there is going to be a superseding indictment under that number there, the CR 2025-007-905-001. So the previous case stuff will be tossed out, and it's all coming together under a superseding indictment. And again, I'm not a legal practitioner of any sort. I interpret that to mean, based upon my research, that it's all coming together, all 14 counts of those felonies. And it's going to be one hell of a long process if there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts here, if she doesn't take a plea deal. But there's a lot of ifs there too. This document goes on to say, lists the specific progress made in the case management conference, blah, blah, blah. Additional charges are filed and discovery has been disclosed. I'm sure the new public defender, what's his name? Forgive me, what's his name? Maybe someone in the chat has it. Let's see, I haven't even refreshed the chat yet. There's a lot. Oh, hey, Psychic Girlfriend. Hi to you, too. Let's see. Is there anybody else? Robin's lurking. Oh, let's see. Yippee. Yes, we're all yippee. Yippee for a holiday, aren't we? All right. Lots going on. Not to mention a holiday. So let's see. The specific case preparation be completed before the next CCMC. Hey, Rob likes to talk about the CCMC a lot. This case will be dismissed in favor of the new indictment, which I believe will have all of that stuff on one piece of paper. Witnesses that have been interviewed, witnesses who will be interviewed, blah, blah, blah. That's not applicable. Now, this is the most salient detail for those of us following this. And that is the status of plans for settlement discussions. That being that the state, the Maricopa County's Attorney's Office, aka the state, will be making a plea offer within the next couple of weeks. So somewhere in the first part of December, there should be some stuff. Now, this is not uncommon. Most criminal cases have a plea offer. Now, with that said, the court doesn't have to take the plea offer. Yes, the state can offer a plea deal. Laura and her representation can accept the plea deal, and the court can reject it if they so choose, as I understand it. Now, again, I don't practice in the legal profession, but that's what we typically see. In most plea deal cases, there is some discretion of the court not to accept the plea deal. So, and I'll throw this out to our psychic girlfriend. If she's done any looking into the judge presiding over the criminal case, and to see if there may be some, I'll use her phrasing the best as I can, what his energy might be in alignment with what he may think with some of these things, how he sees this potential defendant, and how he might receive a plea deal. Would he be interested in allowing Laura Owens to take a plea deal? Now, again, we don't know what the plea deal contains. It could be anywhere from mandatory jail time of a lesser amount than a potential of, about 60 years, 60 some odd years, possibly, given the range of potential sentencing time that the first 7 indictments, let's just round up and say times 2. So we don't know yet what the state is going to offer. And I would be surprised, coming from Rachel Mitchell's office, if there's not some mandatory jail time, or at least a very heavy-handed sentence. Now, yes, technically she is a first-time defender, which puts her in the interesting category of, will she have mandatory jail time? And again, we don't know yet. So these are things we're going to have to keep an eye on as all of this develops. But yes, I know everyone wants her to just get roasted on the stand and all of that other stuff, but this is how the process works. And I was sort of waiting for this for a while. And, when we had the first 7 felony counts, I went, okay, there's no plea deal offer yet. So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, are they still working on more? Are they just not going to offer a deal? What's the situation here? And of course, those of you who've been watching this know that, as it turned out, they haven't offered a plea deal yet because there were still pending felony indictments coming. They were still doing their investigations even after the first 7 felony counts. So that explains why some of this has happened in the time frame that it has. There will be additional time frames as it continues to go on. So let's just kind of finish off the rest of this document here. Let's see, the status of disclosure and discovery. Are there any, let's see, whether any remains outstanding. If so, what efforts are being made? So there are some additional reports and subpoena returns that will be disclosed in the next couple of weeks. That's not surprising with all the additional stuff. I'm sure there's more things to come on the heels of that, for lack of better phrasing. Let's see what substantive motions are contemplated. And this is an interesting one. The state is anticipating filing a 404B motion. Now, I'm not going to bring that up on the screen because this is legalese, and while it interests me to a certain degree, 404B is the rule and the Arizona rule of evidence that typically prohibits the introduction of evidence about a person's past crimes. And I'm reading this off of a search engine. I will disclose that because I'm not a legal professional. It prohibits the introduction of evidence about a person's past crimes or wrongful acts to suggest that they are more likely to have committed the current crime. However, this rule has exceptions, such as when evidence is used to prove the following. And this is where I believe the state will be filing that motion, where the evidence is used to prove motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, or absence of mistake. And this little response in our search goes on to say, defense attorneys often file motions to exclude prior bad acts, while prosecutors may file motion to admit such evidence under a permissible purpose. The court must balance the probative value of the evidence against the risk of unfair prejudice, considering factors like the temporal proximity and the similarity to the charged offense. So that's just sort of where they're thinking. They are looking at her past history as part of this criminal case, which involves things more recently, the past case with Clayton Echard, and before that, Greg Gillespie. Those are the two Arizona residents who have been involved and were victims of Laura Michelle Owens and the resulting charging by the state for 14 felony counts in those two victim cases for the criminal value that they contained. Now, again, she has not been charged with a crime before, and of course, it goes without saying that she is innocent until proven guilty. That's what the judicial system requires. I have opinions. She's guilty as sin because we've seen the evidence, we've seen the facts, we've seen years worth of history. And it was thanks to, who was it that did it? All the Best Research, or was it Justice for Clayton Official? Whoever did that video of the current content creators and all of their first times talking about the case. And surprisingly to me, I didn't think I was included in that, but there I was for a brief second. And I had to go back through all of my videos and all of my files because I realized in that clip that they used on their YouTube channel that I was showing my face, and there was this large swath of time where I was just doing recorded videos, and I just didn't care. I put an avatar on. I didn't want to fire up the camera every time I made a video. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this was a super early one. I was still on camera. So they dug into my deep archives from a year and a half ago, and it's like, my God, I have been talking about this a while. So it's thanks to them. Thank you, Justice for Clayton crew and all the Best Research and Timelines. Just Jen has been making the rounds on some of the other channels, introducing them to even more factual details. So, all the great people in this community are just still, it's amazing, working tirelessly to keep uncovering more and more and more. And of course, hey, Rob, who lives in Arizona, who has been digging up the filings as the courthouse has made them available. So as always, we thank our fellow creators and our fellow document contributors, all the people who schlep down to the courthouse to get stuff, because we still live in a cumbersome judicial system that still bases things on pieces of paper for the most part. Not that that's a bad thing, but, it makes it difficult when filings and motions happen, that someone has to go and get physical copies and then scan them and deal with them, just so that the rest of us can have the benefit of talking about them. So we certainly thank them for that. All right, now the other document, and this is not a surprise either, really. When we saw Laura's appearance in front of Judge Ryder, or is it Reuter? R-E-U, however. I know that spelling as writer, and I won't explain why, but that's just how it's going to be in my head. Judge Writer, or Judge Reader maybe even, I'm not sure. When Coleswood Law Offices withdrew, there was the scheduling for the next hearing, which is slated for December 2nd. And of course, all of us watching that went, oh no, that's when her judgment debtor's exam is also happening too. What's the timing going to be? And that's also when Dingus the Douche Canoe's next DUI thing is going to be.
The fucking douche canoe.
I wish I got paid every time I push that button. You would hear it every 10 seconds. I don't, but they are fun to push.
It's douche canoe and pregnancy faker.
Yes, we are talking about douche canoe and pregnancy faker. More pregnancy faker right now. Douche canoe will be in just a second. So this is a filing that David made on behalf of his former client, but still semi-current client, I guess, sort of, ish. And this is a notice of scheduling conflict. And it says, by minute order filed November 7, 2025, a judgment debtor examination is, not was, set in this matter for December 2, 2025 at 9 a.m. Pursuant to Maricopa County Local Rule 2.2b, petitioner Laura Owens gives notice of a conflict which will prevent her from appearing as ordered on December 2, 2025. Specifically, by minute order dated November 19, 2025, Ms. Owens has been ordered to appear before the Honorable Jeffrey A. Ryder on December 2, 2025 at 9:10 a.m. in State v. Owens, with the case number there. Due to that mandatory appearance in Central Phoenix, Ms. Owens is unable to appear for the debtor's exam in this matter. Oy, now I wonder what the other side's response is going to be to that. Any guesses, anybody? Any guesses at all? Do you think Zaddy Greg Woodnick will make a response to someone who can't manage their time very well in their criminal and other pending cases because, well, we're indigent, therefore we can't give Clayton any money, ergo I'm going to keep my horses, but yeah, I'm not sure what the court's options are in that matter, if they're going to continue it or if it might start getting more heavy-handed. We'll see. It's just next week, so we'll have to keep our eyes skinned. It's going to be another busy week next week. And then the following week, I'm on the road for work, so there better not be anything interesting happening that week. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to text about it because unlike my other content creators, I don't yet have a mobile studio. We don't have mobile cubbyhole studios just yet that I can fit in a cubbyhole pocket. Maybe I'll work on that. Maybe I'll give myself a Christmas present. I don't know. But yeah, we've got work to do there before I can take this show on the road, as the saying goes. So now let me do a little shuffling here. We've got our next. Oh my God, the tilted lawyer is in the house. Oh, what does Omar say? Hi, Omar. David Girl Legs Ginger's fascination with LO is the most perplexing. What? Girl legs? David Girl Legs. What? Omar, help me. Are we talking about legs? We've got girl legs, Etsy Galley. We've got. Let's see. Okay. Okay. That's enough fooling around. With the most perplexing thing about all of this, he needs to take another selfie and show up his grandma biceps. Omar. Oh, he kills me. He kills me. I heard Gingras ordered a tilted lawyer workout video on VHS tape. Hey, am I right or wrong that Omar's built? I mean, I only saw a little bit of Omar in the pool with Lauren when they were racing. That's about all I could judge on. And I think Omar does better than I do. I could use a lot more time in the gym, and I just don't have it. That's the way it is. But I have a few more miles on Omar. Never mind. All right, folks, for our next segment, and I think you're going to like this part, because I've got to do some shuffling, and then we hit this.
Whoa, way, whoa, way, oh, way, oh, way, oh, way. Saturday coffee's gone cold in the cup. Hop, hi, hop, hi. Swore this post would be short, yeah, psych. Buckle up, hop, hi, hi. Storm clouds are brewing, the emojis descend. Darkening skies over drama that never quite ends. Tangents on tangents, the clauses ignite. Welcome to GingerBites, grab a chair, it's all night. GingerBites, snapping jaws of pure prose. GingerBites, where the short story grows from the block to the bar. It's a verbal fight. GingerBites, baby, wrong, 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 but it's right. Hey, GingerBites, doing the fat of the law tonight. Ellipses are crawling like ants on the page. Subpoenas in waiting if Jinko's on stage. One more footnote, one more to be continued. GingerBites forever, overlong and undiluted. GingerBites, roll the credits, kill the lights. GingerBites, still typing through the night. 1,000 words later and we're nowhere in sight. GingerBites, baby, we came for a snack. Got a feast of pure spite. One more clause, one more clause. GingerBites, good night, good luck, and good grief, of course. One more footnote, one more to be continued. Hey, GingerBites, forever, overlong and undiluted. Whoa, whoa, way, whoa, way, oh, way, oh, way, oh, way, oh, way.
That's right, it's time for the GingerBites segment of the day. It is. This is where we take AI summaries of David S. Gingras, Esquire,
The fucking douche canoe.
that being Dingus the Douche Canoe, and we summarize it and distill it down to its most concentrated ginger form so that you don't have to read it. And it's probably going to piss him off. And boy, has he been on a tirade for the last couple days. He is spiraling so far out of control. I almost can't keep up. I've had to update the GingerBites file twice since this morning, and it's driving me crazy because he just lacks impulse control, among other things. So, yes, here we are. There's a few things. This thing is 10 pages long because there's so many GingerBites before we go into the holiday weekend. Well, it's still the holiday week. So this is his first one, as from 2 days ago. And it's entitled Unpacking the Bars Bullshit, Part 1 of 6. It terrifies me that he's planning 6 more of these. Well, actually, he's already done number 2. But I digress. So let's read our GingerBites for today. These are tasty little snacks so that you don't have to go and look at them. And he can just whine and complain and bitch all he wants. And, oh, it's copyrighted. No, it's not. This is for use, you dickhead. And while I'm on the subject of dickheads, and David Gingras the Douche Canoe.
The fucking douche canoe.
Yes, he released a video. And he tried to get nasty about Schnitzel Ninja and saying that she was this, that, and the other. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to watch it again. I only watched it once just to see what the hell is he going on now. And for him and, besmirching other people and their opinions of where he's headed. Fuck you, David. There's the double bird salute. One for me and one for Schnitzel Ninja. Knock it off, you asshole. People can make their opinions. They don't need your permission. You can do whatever you want in response, but then we're just going to have even more reasons to fire back at you. And sadly, Jeep Daddy is not here to give him the double bird salute as well. Jeep Daddy's out doing things. And he said, no, I'm busy. And I went, oh, I guess it's just me, myself, and I. Unless someone pops into the studio. But that doesn't happen very often. People come in, they say hi, and more often than not, they pop out. But that's all right. We're doing just fine. So this is his first one from the 24th. That's 2 days ago. That's Monday. So this is his Whammock Dean's complaint. And all he's doing, folks, in case you haven't figured it out, he's pushing the greatest hits of David Gingras, and he's kind of reliving all of his past glory days, or at least what he thinks are his past glory days, and how he was wronged by this, that, and the other in the Arizona State Bar. And I just see the spiraling downward of the plane, and that's all I see. And that's all Schnitzel pointed out. Well, yes, where the Arizona bar is right now is not that they've actually disciplined him. That is true. Some people have implied maybe that things have gone further than that. I don't think I have, because it is a process. Yes, they make all these findings. The committee gathers. They look at the findings. They decide whether or not there's more to go forward, to take to actually do the write-up and the report and to submit it and to actually move forward to the next steps. Yes, that's true. However, if there was nothing there, they wouldn't have gone this far. So we think there is a good chance that some form of discipline will happen to David S. Gingras. And we just have to wait and see what that is. And he said in his video that, what was it, the chief judge over the bar or whatever it was, I've forgotten. I don't care about all the details. That's not why I'm here. Well, I care about some of the details, more than Stacey Lee at least, but not so much where I'm going to just scribble all the notes down and watch all of his videos multiple times to make sure I get it right. If you really want to go see what he said, he's out there. You can go find him. I'm not going to share that because, well, he's such a punitive asshole. He'll probably strike me for even playing 5 seconds of it because I don't have the 5-minute dispensation that he gave Megan Fox. Nor do I care to. We can talk about it. We can summarize it. And that's my content. That's my original content by taking what he says, summarizing it, and commenting on it. If I can talk. Yes, we can talk. So tough shit to him, and that's a fair use. And if he wants to be stupid enough and fight that somewhere else, that's his own folly, because he would have to bring that here. And we have excellent anti-slap laws here. Excellent anti-slap laws. I'm glad they figured that out in the last few years, because that's one of the reasons I stuck my toe in the water a little bit later with this case than I intended to. They were still working some things out in the state constitution with anti-slap laws. So we want protections where protections are due. And in that case, I think I made the smart move there. So there's that. All right. Have I digressed enough? Have I explained enough? I think I have. Oh, let's see. I see you off in my corner, chat. I don't have things arranged the way I should, just to see how chat's doing. How's everybody doing in chat? Yes, thanks, Robin. Isn't that cute? It came to me one early morning, as things often do. Yes, it was a sea shanty. Or if you can think of that, what's that other song? Dum da da dum, put to sea the name of the ship is a billion. Dum da da dum 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 dum. Soon may the weatherman come and tea and rum. That one. Yeah, we were going for a sea shanty, nautical mariner sort of flavor. It worked. AI meets all of our needs when we know what to tell it. It's great. Okay, I'm never going to get through this. This thing goes on forever. So this is, again, about unpacking the bar's bullshit, part 1 of 6, he says. God. The author, David Gingras, writes in frustration, as only he can, with great verbosity, about accusations from the bar guy, we know that as Jim Lee, an official of the State Bar of Arizona, that he improperly released a report from Dr. Deans. Well, he did, and we heard about that in the June 10 trial. And Greg Woodnick actually asked Dr. Deans, while he was doing that inquiry, as the expert in Owens v. Echard on June 10, 2024, which I watched when I got back from my vacation at that time. And Greg Woodnick actually asked Dr. Deans if she knew that the other side, that being David Gingras and Laura Owens, had released her report. And she was, of course, not aware of that. And that led to Dr. Deans filing a bar complaint against David S. Gingras, Esquire. Rightfully so, I'll add. And I read some of the things about that, and Dr. Deans made some very salient points about that information and how it was shared inappropriately, at least as far as we can tell. And it was kind of a slap in the face at the legal profession if a lawyer is allowed to just willy-nilly release stuff with medical evidence and medical history and all those kinds of things that were in Dr. Dean's report. So she made some great points in there, and David sort of whined about it and tried to make a tap dance around why he did it, and this, that, and the other about what Judge Mata did and did not rule on, what could and could not be. It was just a whole... He just goes on and on and on. Sort of like how I'm doing right now. But I think I'm more entertaining. Maybe it's just because I've got more facial hair. I don't know. It's just my own pat on the back. Gingras argues that the court, specifically Judge Mata, denied confidentiality or sealing requests 3 separate times. The initial motion to seal, a motion for protective order, and reconsideration. He claims there was never a valid sealing order, pointing out that under the relevant rules, blah, 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 a court must enter written findings to justify sealing records. He asserts no such findings exist for this case, but there was an order from the court about not sharing medical and other records from either side to the public. That was said, we found it, we've seen it. I would bring that up right now, but I don't want to digress further because then I'll start reading other documents that I think I've covered in the past. We've done so much now, I can't keep track of it all. It's wild. Oh, what's close? What's close? Critical to crime. I hope something is reasonably close. I try to be reasonably reasonable and reasonably close, especially before a holiday, because that's all I've got. There's not going to be exacting stuff today. I'm by myself, and we're just carrying it all alone here. All by myself. Okay, stop it. Oh, let's see. Moreover, Gingras invokes constitutional protections around free speech and prior restraint, as only he could. Mr. Free Speech Lawyer, he wants everything to be free speech, even stuff that could be not free speech. Oh, he argues to a judge can't legally block publication in advance of actual disclosure, and that even if a sealing order existed, it would have to meet strict requirements. Yes, there's requirements. I'm not going to get into it. We are just summarizing. This is GingerBites. We're not going to go deep diving off the high dive board into the legal pool of rule of law and all those other things that might require some conclusions and analysis, which go beyond me, but they don't go beyond Omar if he is still hiding in the chat. But he may have just said hi and ducked out. I don't know. Let's see. His bottom line is he believes the bar's accusation lacks legal merit and that he did not violate any lawful order by publicly releasing or referencing Dr. Dean's report. In short, the post is defensive, legal theory-based rebuttal to a claim of misconduct. Gingras outlines why, in his view, no valid sealing order existed, and thus the bar's efforts to punish him are bullshit. Oh, I don't have that button. Damn it. Okay, that's another thing to add to the button list. And now to our next GingerBite. No, I'll not play the intro again. This was his second post from Monday. Second post from Monday. See, he can't keep his fingers off the keyboard, can he? No. He is just going to word vomit and finger pummel his keyboard until he's probably got blisters on the end of them, would be my guess of when he might stop. And even then, he may do other things. I don't know. He might start doing text to speech or something, voice to text. That's what I mean. Text to speech, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't that? That's where your AI reads it back to you, if you're lucky. All right, so this is the next one from the 24th, and this is entitled A Quick Subject Change, which... Why we have the eggplant emoji, I don't know. That's curious. I don't think there's a reference there, but it's an odd choice for an emoji. I don't know what he's trying to imply there. I know what it means in certain contexts, but it doesn't seem to apply to this context. So our summary says this, our AI ChatGPT summary that analyzes all of that crap and distills it down into more digestible GingerBites. And it says this post is very different. It isn't about his dispute with the bar. Oh my God, should that get a gasp? Yes, we're a gasp, if not aghast. A P versus a T. Instead, he shifts tone and shares a memory experience. Back in 2023, he gave an interview about a case where he represented a website owner. And this is about the Colin Farrell sex tape thing, I guess. I don't know anything about him in that. Apparently he made a TV appearance, which, he's reliving his glory days and all of his latest content production. So, okay, whatever. We'll talk about how silly it is as we see him just spiraling. I need like a Wile E. Coyote falling off the cliff kind of sound effect for some of this, don't you think? I think so. I'll have to look that up after stream tonight. He explains that although the website owner never brought such a tape, they got pulled into the legal battle simply because someone offered it to them, illustrating how, in the early days of internet law, even peripheral actors could be dragged in. Sort of how he tried to drag other people in by naming them in files. Hi, David. I didn't have an exciting reason to make a bar complaint myself about you, but Don't give me the opportunity because, well, it's probably too late now. The nails may already be set to go in the coffin. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what the bar has cooking, but I've got some feelings about it. And to me, they feel pretty good. I don't know. Maybe our other energy studiers who look at the energy around people might have some thoughts about that themselves. What the energy and where this is going with the bar might actually be. I don't think it's going to be very good. Otherwise, why would someone be painting their house and talking about selling their house? But I get ahead of myself again. That's called foreshadowing. All right. So let's see. The last little point here. Gingras doesn't try to relitigate that case in detail. Although he's tried to relitigate the Ivchenko thing, and he's tried to relitigate Owens v. Echard, and he's tried to relitigate just about everything else involving Laura Owens. Why, we don't know. It just is what it is. Oh, let's see. Rather, the post seems intended as a short detour, a fun story or break. I don't know. Why do you need separate blog posts? Is this a test? Is it a test to see if we're watching? I don't know. Forget it. In effect, this post serves as a bit of color, showing a whole high-profile case he once worked on, reminiscing the glory days of his past, where maybe he was more successful as opposed to currently, where he seems to just be misfiring on all cylinders, and underscoring how the legal landscape for the online content has changed over the decades. So here's his next one. This is from yesterday, reason number 789, that I guess he's leaving Arizona. And I don't think it has to do with his electric bills for air conditioning. I think, this is my opinion again, we're allowed our opinions, that's our First Amendment right to do so, and to pontificate as we so, and well, as I want to do at least. I think he sees the handwriting on the wall, and perhaps the sharks are out as well. And I think there's multitudes of reasons beyond that he may want to leave Arizona. Again, in his video today, and again, we're allowed to talk about his video without him doing anything about it, because we are allowed to talk. That's the First Amendment. Isn't it great, folks? We've got this wonderful thing called the First Amendment, and he can try and saber rattle all he wants to everybody else that he hates and who's talking about him and who's talking about his former semi-current client when he files motions for her that she can't show up because she double booked herself for all of her criminal troubles. The silly man. The silly man. I don't understand how an attorney, and, well, I mean, it's... it's a foregone conclusion. We know why. He's lost his marbles. Maybe he'll be like Cousin Toodles and he'll find his marbles after going to Never Never Land. We'll see. So here, Gingras shares personal reasons why he plans to move out of Arizona in 2026, allegedly. And the main reason is the unbearable summer heat. Well, I would find Arizona hot even in the winter, but that's just me. I'm a wuss. I live in much better, more nicer places of the country where it's not desert and you're not roasting like a lizard out on a rock. That's not my thing. But I do kind of wonder if one's spending $800 a month, as I think it said. Yes, it says that in the next paragraph. We'll get there in a second. Why would it cost so much a month? That's outrageous. Do we have terrible insulation or just horrifically inefficient heat pumps? I don't know. He explains that after growing up in a cooler place, that being San Francisco, isn't that ironic? There's sort of interesting gravitational energy in San Francisco with these people. Arizona's climate is no longer tolerable for him, and recent summers have been the worst he's experienced. He cites dying outdoor plants, even desert-resistant ones, skyrocketing power bills, over $800 a month to stay cool, and how living through constant extreme heat has taken a toll. He also frames this as more than just comfort. The heat, the energy consumption required to mitigate it, feels unsustainable. Feels, not fuels. Although that could be true too. Without good fuel for energy, there's some problems there. You won't have the power to do it. It feels unsustainable, both personally and environmentally. I'll give him a point there. I'll give him a point for wanting to be a good steward of the earth. But if he wanted to do that, maybe cut back on some of the things he consumes that go beyond just electricity. I would bet there's more things. If you know what I mean. Read between the lines there, folks. Further down, Gingras also notes that while his dispute with the bar played a role, I'll bet it played more than just a role, climate and lifestyle are the real drivers of his decision. I'm going to call bullshit on that, and if I have the do I not have a bullshit button? I could have sworn I had one. I'm just going to page through. No, oh golly, I don't have one there. And I've got so many buttons. It's just outrageous. I just don't know. Okay. We're just going to have to add a bullshit button. That's just all there is to it. Because there's going to be more. I'm sure there's going to be more. Oh, he reflects on his roots and admits Arizona isn't my home. That's in quotes. Even though he once chose to move there for college decades ago. So the post is more personal and reflective, less legal theory, more about his environment and quality of life are pushing him to relocate. That may not be all. There may be something with the missus, and he sort of let that slip in the video today. He wasn't going to talk about it, and then he tried to offer some sort of weird breadcrumb. I'm not going to take that bait because I'm not sure if it's accurate, but I think some of the things people are opining may be correct. Because if I were to do a Jack Fox analysis on some of the stuff he actually wrote on his blog, the missus is certainly absent in who would be included about relocating. So I think there's some little tells, if you know what I mean. All right, and here's what else is this? It takes on the themes and what seems important. Oh, okay. ChatGPT is being generous today. Or yesterday. When did I do this? Yesterday and today. It's been busy. Transparency and First Amendment advocacy in the post, Gingras leans heavily on constitutional and procedural arguments to claim the right to publish court-filed documents. And as part of the public record, that is generally true. Of course, he forgot that the court made some orders prior to his coming on the case, which, if he were a dutiful attorney, in my opinion, one who was competent and thorough, he would know what the court had for standing orders of what both sides could and could not do, or his side or the other side. So I think that's on him. But again, I don't practice in the legal profession. I'm just making my opinions based on the facts that I see and how I interpret them. He talks about, I'm going to skip some of this because this is just AI analysis. We don't necessarily need all of it, but sometimes it's interesting. The personal versus professional life, we're here in this paragraph. The second and third blogs show a different side of him, not just as a litigating attorney, but a human reacting to his past cases, memories, comfort, environment. Yeah, he's reliving the good old days. This balance between public fights and personal reflection gives more context to who he is beyond the bar battle. I'm still not impressed. Burnout and environmental impact. The leaving Arizona piece suggests that beyond legal stress, the physical environment, extreme heat, high bills, unsustainable living conditions plays a major role in his decision. Again, I'm going to call bullshit on that. It underlines how climate and lifestyle can influence life choices, even for someone who used to legally combat or legal combat. Is that like Conor McGregor kind of combat? Oh, let's see. Let's check in on chat. I'm going to scroll back just a little bit. Eggplant fixation. He's fixated on Colin Farrell. That could be IB. I'm not sure. Eggplant because he's fried. Oh, I think you can bake eggplants too. It doesn't necessarily have to be fried. He is trying to watch his weight and his health. Good bully for him for that, as the Brits say. Oh, let's see. Ginger molecule. I'm just going to scroll through some here. Is he still married? That is a question. Allegedly, he is. There have been other people in the community who believe they have inside information that there is trouble inside the gondola, the Gingras gondola of love. And if you decide to wade in the waters of reading his blogs word for word, rather than coming here for Ginger Bites, thank you again for joining me for what is turning out to be a Ginger Bites heavy session. It is what it is. If you choose to go and actually read through all of his stuff, and you're welcome to, I can't stop you. I would say be careful because if you decide to make comments, if he has them open, if he's brave enough to allow comments, he can capture your IP, your IP address, your internet protocol address. He can capture that. So I would say go with caution. There are means to shield yourself a little bit from that if that is of concern to you. We practice that regularly. I don't believe in raw dogging the internet, so we like to practice safe interneting, unlike other people and their proclivities, or shall we say indiscretions, or shall we say being cavalier in their relationships. But never mind, that's not a judgment. So, but I digress again. Yes, we're not sure quite what the status is of Mr. and Mrs. Gingras, particularly Mrs. Gingras, but we've heard rumors. We don't know if those rumors are true. Although he did say if they were getting divorced, it would show up on the docket for that. So I'm sure there are eyes watching for any potential relationship status changes as far as legal things are concerned with anyone that may be tangentially related to this case, including Dingus the douche canoe.
The fucking douche canoe.
So we'll see. We'll see if anything happens there or if something something turns up in the future. We don't know. Let's see. Winks and Wits. Okay, $800 a month. I know what I pay for my house. He must have a massive house or poorly insulated and not energy efficient. That's my suspicion. There are people in the community that know his address. I don't know what it is. I don't care to. And even if I did, I wouldn't necessarily share it unless it's a vacant and it's available for purchase. And someone in in the JFC cult can go occupy his former house. And that's I'm not advising that in any stretch of the imagination, but it would be so funny if someone in the area decided to be a property owner and host parties at the former Gingras residence. But I digress. It's going to be a day of digressions. It may be Wednesday, but it feels like it should be a Fuck It Friday. But I want to do that with other people. I don't want to have that session. I don't want to do a live like that on my own. It's just not as much fun. Okay, let's see. There's a story there with his wife. Yeah, I believe there is. Let's see. Winks, I'm so curious about his wife also. I want to know what she thinks about all this BS. I'll bet she's not amused. That's my hunch. Oh, let's see. What else? Oh, there's all kinds of comments. I won't read them all because we'll be here for hours. Thank you all for being here, chat. You're wonderful. We love it. Maybe his wife was in JFC already. You never know. Oh, let's see. PCB Amy says, I'm in the process of getting baked right this very second. Well, good for you. What's the phrase? Peace, love, joy, and happy baking. If I were baking, it would be cookies, but I'm not supposed to do so much of that kind of thing anymore. And Critical True Crime says, I've already been doxxed. Oh my God, have you already? Oh. I shouldn't say this. Knock on steering wheel. I've got my steering wheel from the other stream from back in Halloween. Still marked safe from being doxxed by David Gingras and Laura Owens, but you never know. He may dislike me so much he may come after me next, just as he has. I think someone striked Melissa Jade. She was going through some of the Medium stuff and some of the videos, and at one point, one of her lives cut out. I don't know that she was officially struck. I don't know if she's got social media where she's announced that. I heard that on a rumor that she may have been the latest victim. And I think it was on Lauren's live, Lauren 90's live. That's the Court of Random Opinion. If you aren't a member there, go subscribe to Lauren's channel, as well as all of our friends who appear here in chat. Bruce the Moose. If you like the metaphysical and the spiritual, where the metaphysical and spiritual realms collide, go visit your psychic girlfriend, Robin Richardson. It's a fun take. It's a different take. You can take it or leave it. Robin's very open that way, which is great. It's not like gospel, like certain religions where if you believe something, it has to be a certain way. So, but Robin does some interesting thinking about stuff and has some interesting, unique perspectives, which I find insightful sometimes and just entertaining, if nothing. We can all have our opinions. We can all have our perspectives. That's why this place is so great. And generally speaking, strangely enough, we all kind of end up reaching the same conclusions. Have you noticed that? It doesn't take very long spending time on just a handful of other content creators, not even people who are going for hours on end in their lives. And we all seem to reach the same stuff. Even the new people that come to this case are reaching the same conclusions because the facts speak for themselves. And I don't want to use the word truth because the word truth is subjective. At least it can be subjective. And we all know about Laura trying to share her truth, which seemed to be different from the facts of the rest of the truth or other people's truth. So, I like to use the word facts over the word truth. Let's see. Schnitzel would never marry... What? Who was saying Schnitzel would marry Gingy? That would never happen. Oh, my goodness. Poor Schnitzel. She's taken the brunt of all kinds of things. Italian Schnitzel nachos. That might work, Bruce. I'm not sure. I suppose if it were ground up, which makes it less schnitzel, that could be the case. But what do I know? I know my way around a kitchen, but that starts getting a little fancy even for me. Let's see, what's the username that Laura claimed was Greg? Oh, there've been many. Let's see, other chats. Oh, let's see. Honk My Meat. Yes, we love Honk My Meat. Something meat. All right, let's see. Where are we in this? Okay, back to GingerBites. Oh, stop talking about cheese. We like cheese. I eat way too much of it. Don't tell my doctor. All right, what's the gist of part 2 of 6? Oh my gosh. In air quotes, assholes. That's the title of this next one, and this one comes from today. Can you believe it? The man is just insufferable. This post continues the author's public pushback against what he calls repeated, baseless accusations by the bar guy. Oh, wow. The focus remains on one of the core complaints, that the author allegedly violated court order by releasing or failing to seal an expert report, the one from Dr. Samantha Deans. The author argues forcefully that there was no valid sealing order, although we believe otherwise, based on the court's previous hearings and rulings that talked about how information, especially health information, was to be shared between the parties. You can't deny that exists, because it's there in the court record. He walks through how the motions for confidentiality were denied, but there was more than that. 3 separate times. Yes, he sure did, and it was obnoxious each and every time. And claims the judge never made written findings required for sealing under Arizona Rules of Family Procedure. Sigh. He contends that because no lawful order required sealing, there was no legal obligation for him or anyone else to file under seal, and therefore no misconduct. He further argues that if someone else referenced or used the same report, another attorney named Greg Woodnick in the same case, and did not get disciplined, that undermines any claim of selective enforcement or fairness by the bar. Greg Woodnick wasn't posting all of that shit on the internet, but he was. Because I remember it. I saw it the day it was posted. Oh, just stop already. More broadly, Gingras frames this as part of a systemic problem. You know, this is where he claims the bar is corrupt and they're just out to get him. Oh, woe is me. Oh. Not that kind of awe, though. A different kind of awe. If my soundboard's actually working today. Hopefully it is. Let's see. Maybe I should just push more. No, I won't push more buttons. Let's see. More broadly frames the system. I read that part. Claiming the bar is misusing its power, applying inconsistent standards, and weaponizing compliance rules to punish attorneys who exercise what he views as their First Amendment or public record rights. Now, we could take that a little further. When someone was corralling their client on their YouTube channel and saying, is it okay that I talk about this and share this? And she was kind of caught off guard. I think that could be problematic too, but I don't know that's part of what the Arizona bar is considering. There's 6 different things. There's six different complaint cases they are looking at, and it's going to be part of that next step of the report to the... Was it the chief judge over the bar? Is that what it was? I'm trying to remember now. There's so much going on. All the details are blurring together. And the summary is this. In short, the post strengthens the author's position that the bar's allegations are legally unfounded bullshit. Pardon my hiccups. I can't do air quotes and hit the mute button at the same time. As the title says, because there was never a valid court order requiring sealing. And here's our next little insightful thing. What he's arguing and what's at stake. He emphasizes the importance of proper procedure. Sealing requires explicit written findings. Without that, neither confidentiality nor sealing is legally justified. That's central to his defense. He implies double standards because another lawyer in this case filed the same report or similar documents unsealed and wasn't punished. Any disciplinary action against him would reflect inconsistent or biased enforcement. Well, we don't believe that's what happened. More broadly, he frames this as a struggle over transparency, free speech, and the public's right to access court records, suggesting the bar or those bringing complaints are trying to suppress or discourage public disclosure through intimidation or discipline. Oh, let's see. What else does it tell us? My read, what's important and a few risks. Oh, let's see. The author's legal arguments rest heavily on procedural technicalities, the absence of required sealing orders, prior order denials, lack of findings. If accurate, he seems to have a strong foundation. I'm not sure he does. That's my opinion. That's my opinion, and God damn it, I'm entitled to it. That said, his tone is confrontational and provocative, as only he can be. even in the header, assholes, which suggests he's not just relying on formal legal arguments, but also using public pressure and rhetoric. That's what he's been doing the whole time we've seen him involved in any of this. That can be a double-edged sword. Yes, it can. Live by the sword, die by the sword, as the old saying goes. It might rally support. Highly unlikely. But it could also alienate some observers or decision makers. The core risk for him, if reviewing a body, bar, court, disciplinary board decides to interpret the history differently. I read that funny. If a reviewing body, that being the bar, court, or disciplinary board, if they decide to interpret the history differently, as they might, I think there's a good chance it will not go so favorably for him, especially with a DUI offense on top of it. For instance, treating the judge's cryptic, and I should preface the second DUI offense on top of it. For instance, treating the judge's cryptic, let the record reflect line as sufficient or finds procedural issues in timing, then his defense might be weakened. On the other hand, by publishing this publicly and calling out what he sees as misconduct by the bar, he's committing to a public narrative, if his claim holds, that could pressure the bar to drop or review complaints. But if not, there may be reputational or disciplinary blowback. So there's risk there. There's risk for everybody. And now is time for a water break if you don't have one, or if you need to refill your popcorn and or your adult beverage if you so choose to imbibe, or in other such legal substances as applicable by your local municipality. This is just water. And for our last Ginger Bite this evening, we have a summary of the YouTube video. That would be the one he released today. That's how hard we're working here to bring you Ginger Bites. We've got current stuff. And I made it summarize the transcripts, so you know how YouTube transcripts go. There may be some inaccuracies. If you desperately want to give him the clicks and the watch hours, I can't stop you. But that's why we do this. We summarize all of his nonsense so you don't have to go and look at it yourself. But again, everyone is welcome to go and look for it and reach their own conclusions. But if you read any of the comments and any of his stuff lately, those conclusions are not flattering. So there's that. He plays a song as he often does. I forget what it was. Doesn't matter. Gingras jokes about struggling with copyright-free intro music. Yeah, welcome to YouTube, David. That's why we use certain things the way we do, because we can come up with original stuff that's germane to what we're talking about. And it's not a copyright problem because, well, I pay for it. It's mine, and it's copyrighted material as being mine. So I shouldn't have to tell that to a First Amendment internet lawyer, but I think I do. Let's see. He says he was copyright flagged for using an AI-generated song. What? Was he using something he shouldn't have been? And for using music by Roger Klein, whoever that is. I don't care. If I ever get copyright striked by my own music, I'm changing platforms. That's just all there is to it. It's mine. I've paid for. I have created it with some AI help, and it's my ownership. So that's how I feel about it. That's, I think, I'm legally on my side of the fence too. He switches to use live cover music from an Australian band he likes, Hindley Street Country Club. I don't know who they are. I didn't listen to that much of it. I skipped past the music because I don't care. He mentions he was told his hour-long videos are too long, so he is capping this one around 10 minutes. Really? That's a pity. I kind of like the longer ones. It gives him more room to breathe. Don't listen to them, David. Do it as long as you want. Get it all out. I mean, if you aren't seeing a therapist and you're not in rehab, which I believe you should be, you may as well just use the internet as your punching bag and use it as your therapist, as some of the rest of us do. That's not a confession on my part. It's just, there's sometimes sympathetic people, if you're lucky, if you're reasonable, and sometimes you're just not reasonable, David. Actually, I would say a lot of the times you're not reasonable. You're too reactionary, you're too strong-handed, and you can't control yourself, sort of like your client. Or is it your former client? Your semi-former client? So if you're still writing filings for her, I'm not sure where that categorizes what he does. I just don't know. It's kind of in that weird gray area of on again, off again, I guess. I know, because because he was representing her in Owens v. Echard, and the whole judgment debtor thing is Owens v. Echard. Technically, that's why, but there could be a substitution. Not that she's going to find somebody else. She'd probably have to do it pro se, and that would be very entertaining to watch her do a judgment debtor and be pro se. That would be better than some of the sovereign citizen stuff you can find all over the YouTubes. He mentions, oh yes, we read that one. Okay, that's just about length. See, I've lost my place already. Number 2, his main point. A claim being spread is false. Oh dear. Oh no. Whatever will we do? We could just laugh maniacally that it's, no. We won't laugh maniacally. So he says someone online, and then he names Schnitzel. I mean, Schnitzel wasn't the only one that shared the story, so it was just ridiculous that he likes to target women. He likes to target a lot of women. I think there's reasons for that. He says that JFC, a.k.a. Schnitzel Ninja, claimed that the Attorney Discipline Probable Cause Committee found probable cause to discipline David Gingras, which in part is true. Now, that is just this final result of discipline, and the final, shall we say, charges haven't quite happened yet. There's still a couple more steps that have to happen before he is officially disciplined. But we are, in fact, on the disciplinary path for the Arizona bar. So he's being petty. He's squabbling at a laywoman, lay Schnitzel's perception of the process. And again, she's entitled to her opinion too, and he can just go fuck off. And that's just all there is to that. He calls that statement, the one previous, false, and repeatedly refers to it as a lie. He says he would consider it defamatory if the person making the claim weren't, quote unquote, mentally ill, which Schnitzel is not. I like Schnitzel. Schnitzel's great. She's a great personality. She's been very, very instrumental in getting information out there, as have other people like Hey Rob, who we've mentioned before. I see people are talking about Rob in the chat, right? Has Rob showed up and I missed him? Yes. Maybe we're talking about a different Rob. I know. I miss Jeep Daddy too. He's busy. I tried to get him on. I strong-armed him. No, I didn't threaten him. But I will share with everybody, if you like Jeep Daddy, he has started a channel. He doesn't have anything yet. He says he's told me, and hopefully I'm not telling tales out of school. And if he is, he can smack my hand later. He has started a channel. It is called Off-Road Entropy / Jeep Daddy. I don't have the link for that because I wasn't prepared to mention that. So this is off the cuff. You can go Google Off-Road Entropy / Jeep Daddy, and you will find him. He tells me he's going to get like a GoPro, and he's going to do, I think, some off-road content on his channel. I don't know that he hasn't said that specifically, but I was like, oh, okay, you started a channel. That's great. I'm not sure what his plans are. I just like having him here because we share the same snarky perception. And what does Bruce say? Bruce says, to be a lie, he would have to demonstrate it's incorrect rather than just talking past each other. Very accurate, Bruce. Then he would have to prove it was made with the intent to deceive, neither of which he has done. Bravo, Sir Moose. Claps. Bruce isn't done. There's more. Rather than actually focus on the facts and the details and evidence that he doesn't have, he just calls people names. Yeah, it's a form of intellectual. It's a low form. Oh, get it right. It's a low form of intellectual discourse. But it is on brand for him. Booze for David and low-level intellectual discourse. Okay. Yeah, it's David. It's David. Some people have just given up on him. Watching the, this is the old phrase, right? It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, and we're watching it unfold on a day-to-day basis. It's his own doing. He doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to go punching the internet like his sort of therapy squishy toy or whatever those things are. He could just keep it to himself, but no. He could get a therapist. He could get a counselor. He could do that, but no. He wants to go and just attack people and dox people and do all that sort of childish bullshit that's just meant to threaten and intimidate people. And it's not becoming of a practicing attorney, in my view. And I suspect, and again, this is only my opinion and it's only my speculation, that I think he's going to get shown the door and he's going to make some sort of half-assed excuse like he usually does. Yes, Timu bully. Absolutely. Oh, yes. So let's finish off the summary. This is a fairly long summary for a video, but it is based on the transcript. And in 10 minutes, he does do a lot of talking. I mean, in an hour, I do a lot of talking, but that's beside the point. So what he says actually happened, that nothing has happened since August. Nothing new has happened since August. And he did, in fact, say that. What did happen in August? He says that investigator Jim Lee sent Gingras a draft report of his findings. That's not nothing. Neither is it nothing that the committee, the disciplinary committee that was formed to review these cases and to decide whether or not there was probable cause to act on him in a disciplinary fashion, they voted in favor of moving forward in a 7-0 vote, with 2 people not present. We'll be technically accurate there, but we saw that. We talked about it just the other day. That's not nothing. Jesus. All of this lying. He's as bad as his client. Just, in my opinion, just another pathological liar. When it doesn't look good for him, he calls everyone names and says they're lying. That's just the way he operates, just as his client operates. Oh, JFC is just such a thing. Oh, they're harassing me and defaming me on Reddit. Oh my God, police! You need to stop people talking about me that don't say nice things. Oh my God. Okay. Gingras says he tried corresponding with Jim Lee because he found it. He stopped trying to correspond with Jim Lee because he found it futile. He prefers to take disputes to the bar judge where he can claim anti-slap remedies. That would be funny too. Are these hearings? Are these proceedings with lawyers? Are those public? I've heard in the What the Hales case. Who was it? Was it Bruce? There were some hearings with the bar. What was that? I seem to remember something with some of the What the Hell stuff that Megan played that were recordings of some hearings about attorneys and bars and that kind of thing. So I wonder what the status is for Arizona. Any of our Arizona content creators, hey Rob, you may want to see. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I'm just throwing this out there. If there's a way to find out if one can attend some of these hearings about attorneys that appear before the bar. I'm curious. I don't know. I haven't researched it. I'm just asking a question. If it is something that someone could sit in on, I think that could be interesting to the broader public who are following these cases and the very public people who are involved and can't seem to keep their mouths shut and have to blog and make YouTube videos about their crashing out and burning. Oh, let's see. Lee eventually sent his report with alleged factual errors to the Probable Cause Committee. Yes, we just talked about, where they voted 7-0 to move forward. Why there's a protective order. Gingras says the bar investigator demanded his entire client file, which he had to hand over. Ooh. That might have been a big file. Because the file contains privileged material, he asked the disciplinary judge for a protective order or a seal, whichever, which was granted. Okay, fine. Later, he asked to modify the protective order so he could publicly rebut what he claims are misstatements in Lee's report. So he wants it locked down tight, but then he has to revise because he wants to bitch about it on the internet. That's sad. That's sad. Oh my gosh. Number 4, the vote Gingras is responding to, the committee 7-0 vote. The Probable Cause Committee unanimously agreed that there's probable cause to file a formal complaint, not to discipline him. Well, that's Gingras saying that, but it is a step in that process. If there were nothing, there would be no there. Gingras emphasizes repeatedly that this is not a finding of guilt. Yes, okay, fine. But it is the next step. It is not a finding that he violated ethics rules, but it is the next step. It simply allows the process to move forward with a formal complaint and hearing. So there we go. At least a partial admission of some actual truth there. But that doesn't mean it won't end in them doing something. It doesn't mean that it does. It doesn't mean that it won't. I think it's in the favor of meaning that there is something they will do to discipline him. But that's just my opinion at this point in time until we have more information. He likens it to being charged with a crime, not being convicted. Yeah, well, okay, it's a process. It doesn't stop there with charges. As we know, there's a trial, and if there's a finding if there's a finding of guilt, that's when sentencing and convictions and all those kinds of things happen, right? So it's the first part of those steps. Yes, I mean, God, I get it, and I'm not a lawyer. Why can't he get it? Gingras' position on the merit of the charges. This is number 5. He claims none of the allegations have merit. Oh, to live in such a fantasy land. He gives an example. One accusation relates to whether he failed to give Woodnick documents. He says he has written proof contradicting that allegation. He asserts the bar is not going to win that claim. Yeah, sure. We saw the trial. We know what happened there. I believe differently. Number 6, new update. Email from investigator Jim Lee. Gingras shows an email he received the same day. That same day. Key points from Lee's email, as quoted by Mr. Gingras. A formal complaint cannot be filed until approved by the Chief Bar Counsel. That's the one I was looking for. The Chief Bar Counsel. She has been out of the office, so she's probably out of town. Maybe on holiday, maybe having turkey somewhere else. Who knows? It doesn't matter to us. Once she is back in the office and approves the draft, it will be filed, and then the next steps will happen. Gingras' interpretation is that Lee is not the final authority. His boss must sign off. Well, that's kind of a no duh. All right. It is unknown whether she will approve it. Shall we take bets? Any over-unders in chat on whether or not the Chief Bar Counsel will approve the report by Jim Lee? Anybody in chat? I might give chat just a second to catch up. While we do that, I'll read some more comments. We need a Gingy bingo card. Yes. Left country, divorced, another DUI. New bar complaint from Hello. Hello, paternity suit for twins with him. New girly leg pics. Okay, I'm not getting the girly leg reference. Is that a Discord thing? Am I missing out not being in Discord? I hope not. I've thought about joining it, but I just haven't got around to it. It's just one of those things. Point number 7. I skipped a part. Ooh, my apologies. Gingras' interpretation, he's not the final authority. Yes, it is unknown whether she'll approve it. Yes, the probable cause committee only sees Lee's side, not Gingras' side. Yes, in his video, he claims that he didn't get to defend himself. So as soon as it all moves forward, he will get to defend himself, and then he went on to say more things. Let's see if ChatGPT caught some of that. Gingras' criticism of the investigator. He portrays Jim Lee as being biased and overzealous. That's an opinion, not a fact. He says someone who doesn't follow the law, that's also an opinion, not a fact. Someone who pursues legally groundless claims. That's also an opinion, not a fact. See, this is typical David. Someone's coming after me, so therefore they're wrong. They're breaking the law. They're lying. I'll call them names, etc., etc., etc. What a hypocrite. He just wants a pile of sycophants to fawn over him. And, oh, poor David. Oh, it's not going to happen, though. Let's see. He says Lee is not required to be neutral, but should still adhere to ethical obligations. Yikes. Claims Lee's actions are amount to harassment. No, it doesn't. Just as people talking about Laura Owens on the internet doesn't amount to harassment either, which Gingras plans to combat using anti-slap laws. Well, good luck. 8. What happens next? If the formal complaint is filed next week, Gingras will respond immediately within a day or two because evidently has nothing better to do other than make blogs and YouTubes. Hearings are supposed to occur within approximately 150 days of filing. He will issue multiple subpoenas. Yes, he's been issuing threats that he's subpoenaing everyone, including Judge Mata's dad, and Woodnick. I don't know how that works. I don't know how it works. I don't know if he can. I would suspect there are rules about that too. We'll see. Even if he can, which I'm skeptical of, I think he's going to have a fight on his hands. This could be great. I might have to order some more popcorn. I have not ordered more seasonal popcorn. You know those tins? I'm going to holiday digress because here we are at Thanksgiving. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me, and including the replay crew. God. I've got cotton mouth. Yes, clip that image. That's for the internet. We're being silly now. I've not gotten my 3-flavor popcorn tin for the year yet. I've got to go get it. You know, the one that's got the butter, the cheese, and usually something else. I would like it if it wasn't caramel corn or, thick, sugary candy corn. Kettle corn would be a great third popcorn choice. So you have the butter, the cheesy, and kettle corn. If anyone knows where I can find that, I want to find it. That's what I want in my 3-divided popcorn tin for the holidays. I like popcorn. I eat more of it than I probably should. But it helps with things. So, that's popcorn's better than potato chips and french fries. So we're trying to make healthier choices, right? Let's see. Oh, yes. What else does he whine about? He wants his viewers, everyone who hears and sees his face, hears his voice and sees his face, rather, Please reserve judgment. Don't make any opinions. Don't have any judgments against where it's going against him. Because you might be wrong and then he's going to sue everybody for defamation. Good fucking luck. Wait to see all the facts. Well, yes, I'm waiting to see the facts, but in the meantime, I'm going to speculate because I've got a little bit of an inkling on where it might be going. But that's just my opinion. And God damn it, David, I'm entitled to my opinions, just as Schnitzel is. So, tough shit. Let's see. It says he will share as much information as possible unless restricted by protective orders. Oh, yeah, there's a caveat already. And personal side notes. He mentions his Thanksgiving plans. He talks about how happy he is, blah, 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 blah. I don't buy it for a minute. And then for all of you wanting to know about his marriage, he gives you a little crumb in his video, too. And he talks about the speculation about his marriage. And he says his wife is in England helping her mother with health issues. And he says they are not divorced and no case has been filed. He also says that there are further details. He says further details are none of anybody's business. Read between the lines, folks. There have been no divorces filed yet. So maybe they're taking a time out. I don't know. Again, that's speculation. I don't know. I don't have the inside ear on what's happening in Arizona, where he is, wherever he is. So, nor do I really care. If there is trouble in Gone with the Wind land, yes, if there's trouble in Terra, I think it's just going to be more fodder for people to talk about. But, you know, that's what he gets for being involved in a case where he thought he was going to gain political capital and personal capital and maybe even financial capital by being involved in it. So that's his own damn fault. It's also his own damn fault for not doing a very good job in his case management and representing his client. But that's our opinion. That's not cause or correlation for coming to legal conclusions on my part because, well, again, I'm not a legal professional. We're just making opinions. We're reading the words on the screen, and we're just talking about it. So that's what we do here. And in closing, he says the coming week is likely when the formal complaint will be filed. Oh, we could have done better with that phrasing, AI. Thank you. And he reiterates he intends to fight all the claims vigorously. Well, I'm sure, just as his client will. And then he thanks his viewers, and then that's the end of it. So there we go. All right. Oh, let's see. That's all the GingerBites for today, folks. So thank you for that part of it. Let's see. Where are we in chat? Oh, I got to back up a little further. Yes, we talked about the bingo cards and LOL at the whole chat. Yes. Well, chat's great. I love chat. Chats is where some of the best and most entertaining things happen. Caramel. I like it when it's good. I like it more when it's fresh. I'm not supposed to do it so much. We're not supposed to do all that kind of stuff. I've got to save all that for better things. I just buy them for the tin. Yes, most of us do. And some people just save the tin and reuse it, but to each their own. What about Aurora the cat? Well, as far as we know, Aurora is still doing okay. She makes semi-regular appearances, probably against her will, in my view. Aurora is all we care about. Yeah, she's an adorable little thing, isn't she? I'm presently cat. Hashtag free Aurora. That's not the first time I've seen this one. You can also use hashtag justice for Aurora. We have seen that one as well. See, iKimbo says the real surprise is that Gingras is capable of a 10-minute video. Yes. I think there could be a series of 10-minute videos. Let's watch and see. Wait and see. Watch and see and wait and see too. Let's see. Bruce says maybe they were never married because he fucked up the paperwork. Well, that's possible. Chat is great. Yes, it is. His marriage license is just an old photocopy of Rule 26. Bruce. Oh, marriage was before his time. Well, we don't know. I'm not sure when he got married. I haven't gone digging for that. And not quite honestly, I really don't care. So there we are. I think that's enough for a holiday time, don't you think, folks? That's all I've got for you this evening, and we've gone for a good hour plus. So, you know, that's unlike him in 10 minutes. We can't get through all of his bullshit in 10 minutes because he just makes too many words. Few thousand words and all of that, for sure. I didn't ask ChatGPT to give me a word count because it's a lot, and we just don't need to know those kinds of numbers that we could have been spending reading greater literature than things that get turned into GingerBites. But that's what we do. We've got GingerBites there, and I'm sure there will be more as he just can't seem to stop himself. And we'll cover what's interesting, and if there's anything that's not interesting, maybe we'll pass, or maybe not. We'll see. That's all my ranting and raving for this evening. And so again, thank you all again for joining me on this Thanksgiving Eve and participating in this little venture we call Echoes from the Tabernacle / Cubbyhole. The cubbyhole is in the tabernacle, in case you're wondering. It's like your junk drawer, right? It's the junk drawer of your house. That's the cubbyhole. At least that's where I keep things in my junk drawer. It's its own little cubbyhole. Yeah, see, I've got all these inferences, and I might just tease Omar at no end. Not because I don't like Omar. I love Omar. So thank you all again. Have a happy, wonderful, safe, blessed holiday weekend. Be safe. Be smart. Don't do anything you shouldn't do. Don't become a news story yourself, especially. And until next time, folks, we'll see you when the next stuff happens. So until then, have a great holiday, and we'll see you probably next week. All right, so long for now.